Today we'll be going over scale drawings and scale models. For this section we have 3 vocabulary words. You should recognize these vocabulary words from last Monday. So our first word is scale drawing or model. A scale drawing or model is used to represent an object that is too large or too small to be drawn the actual size. Now we have scale. Scale is the ratio that compares the measurements of the drawing with the actual object. Finally, scale factor is when a scale is written in the simplest form using the same units. If you forget those words, go back to your vocabulary words and you can look it up. So, our first example for today is a map shows a scale of 4 inches for every 6 miles. The distance between 2 places on the map is 4.25 or 4¼ inches. What is the actual distance? Okay, so our first step is to set up a proportion using the given scale. So set up a proportion using the given scale. So our scale for this problem is 4 inches for every 6 miles. We'll write it 4 inches for every 6 miles. It says keep same units across from each other. Okay, so we're setting up a proportion and we want the same units across from each other. So the only other thing we know is that we want to find the distance, which is 4.25 inches. It's going to go on top where the other inches is. 4.25 inches. Now, we're solving for x. We want to know what the distance, 4.25 inches, is in miles. So, step 2, cross multiply where you can. So, we'll multiply there, over there. Let's do this side first. So we have 4 inches times x, which gives us 4x. Set that equal to 6 times 4¼ inches. Let's do a little math here. We get 6, 2, 12, 15, 4, 5. We have 2 decimals. So that gives us 25½ Okay, so we cross multiplied. Let's see what our next step is. It says divide by the leftover number. So that's saying that we want x by itself. So we could do our railroad tracks. We want to divide by 4. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. So this leaves us with x equals 25.50 divided by 4 is 6.375. Okay, we're not done yet because we have one more step. It says do not forget to label. So we're going to label this miles. So we found our answer. Okay, our next example is a scale model of a monument which is 10 inches tall. The actual monument is 100 feet tall. What is a scale model? So we need to take the given numbers that are being compared and set them up as a ratio. So we know 10 inches and 100 feet is what we're comparing. So we want the model height on top. 10 inches is our model. That will always go on top. Equals 10 inches. Now we want our actual height on the bottom, which is 100 feet. Okay, so here's our scale. We now need to simplify it. So this can simplify to 1 inch over 10 feet. So this is our scale. Next, we want the scale factor. From your vocabulary, you should know that a scale factor is when a scale is written in the simplest form using the same units. So if we start with 1 inch over 10 feet, we want to convert the feet into inches. So that'll be the same as saying 1 inch over 120 inches. Because we know there's 12 inches in a foot, so 12 times 10 is 120. So after we rewrite this becomes our scale factor. Okay. So let's go down here to the problems. So we could do it together. So we have a driving distance with a scale of 1 inch to 70 miles. So our first step was to set up a proportion using the scale. Here's our scale. So we'll have 1 over 70 equal to 5.5 for x. Because this is what we're trying to find as x. So our next step is to cross multiply. This gives us x equals 70 times 5.5, which is, let's do the math down here. 0.5 times 70. $38.50. We don't need to do step 3 because there's no left over number to divide by. So our answer is going to be 38.5 miles. Okay, let's do number 2. Find the missing dimension using the scale factor 2 to 5. Okay, we need to remember when we have a scale factor, it is going to have the same units. So all of these units will be the same. They all will be kilometers. So let's do our first step, set up our proportion using our scale factor. So we have 2 over 5 equals, our model goes on top, and our actual goes on the bottom. Step 2, cross multiply. This gives us 2x equals 5 times 10, 50. Now we want to divide by the leftover number. Our leftover number is 2, so we go divide by 2. So this gives us x equals 25. So our answer is 25 kilometers. Remember to put your label on there because we need to know what kind of units it is. Now pause the video and try these next problems on your own. So after trying the problems, you should get something like this. Not something like this, you should get exactly this. 1/3 inch and 13 meters.